Hi, in this video we're going to wire up an SG-1. Now the wiring for an SG-1 is actually exactly the same as for an LP-1 and an MB-1. So if you look on our videos page, you'll see there is a comprehensive video for an LP-1 or an MB-1. The only difference is that the output jack mounts to the top of the guitar. So what I'll do for the SG-1, I'm going to go through it very quickly. So if you just want a brief snapshot of how you do it, then watch this video. If you need something with more detail, go and check out the video on LP1 and MB1, wiring up an LP1 and MB1. That's a three-part video. It's about 30 minutes in total, and that goes step by step through the whole process. Because wiring a guitar with two humbuckers, two tones, two volumes, a three-way switch and an output jack is actually quite complicated. And there's about 40 steps in the process, and you've got to get every one of those steps right. So as I say, if you want something with a lot of detail, go and watch the LP1, MB1 wiring video, which is on our videos page on our website. But if you just need a snapshot of how it does, how it's wired up, just very briefly in 10 minutes, then you can watch this video. I'll get the camera in and we'll see how it's done. Okay, for wiring up an SG-1, obviously you're going to need the body of the SG-1 you're working on. You're going to need some parts from your bag. You'll need your three-way switch. You'll need your collection of wires, short and long wires. You'll need your two humbucker pickups, which are there. You'll need your capacitors, which are those small green things with legs. There's two of those. And you'll need 4 potentiometers, or as we call them, pots. And they come with washers and hexagonal nuts. You also get some solder as well, and that's actually enough to do the whole kit, that little bunch of solder there. You'll need a screwdriver, you'll need a pair of pliers, you'll need your soldering iron, of course, and because of soldering we'll need a wet kitchen sponge. That's just to keep your soldering iron clean. Now if you've watched the other LP1, MB1 wiring video, you see I've got this cardboard cutout, and if you haven't seen that video, go and watch that video, and that explains why you use that. But that's just to hold the pots. What you do is you put the pots in over the top. And there you go, this cardboard just holds those pots in place while you solder them. There's nothing worse than pots that are falling around everywhere while you're trying to keep them still and solder them. And notice that the contacts are facing each other. That makes it very easy to work together. So theoretically, once it's all wired up, you just take them out and you pop them in to the respective holes in the back of your guitar. And because you've done them in the right order, they should just fit straight in. Alright, so let's go through it. As I said at the start, if you want more detail, don't forget to go and watch the LP1, MB1 video, wiring video, and that has a lot of detail. This video, I'm just going to skip through it very quickly. First step we're going to do is we're going to turn these pots here into volume pots, and we're going to do that by earthing these far right contact points, both of those. We're going to fold those back onto the top of the potentiometer, like so. So fold it up and onto the top there, and we'll put a bit of solder to make that connection. So that contact there will be, with a pair of pliers, we'll fold it up so it touches the top of the pot, then we'll solder it so it's made contact. We'll do that now. And there you go. I've bent that contact point up till it touches the pot, and I've soldered it there. So those are both now earthed, and they're volume pots as they're labelled on the cardboard. Next step is to look at the front of the guitar, so I've turned it over, and we'll look at the pickups. We have one humbucker pickup with a yellow wire, and the yellow wire is actually quite long, and another humbucker pickup with a red wire, and that's got a shorter wire. So it figures that the red pickup will be the bridge pickup at the back of the guitar, because it has less distance to go to the control panel, which is at the back, and the pickup with the yellow wire will sit at the front of the guitar, like so, and that wire will go through the guitar into the control panel down the back as well. And you'll notice that these humbucker pickups have poles, so the poles face forward at the front, and at the back they face back, I'm not sure if that actually makes any difference, but that's just how I've seen other guitars. And also the wires conveniently fit to the hole there. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll thread those through, and we'll collect the wires at the back. And we'll just tape the pickups to the top of the guitar so they don't fall around when we move the guitar over. So you'll need some masking tape as well. There you go, those wires have been fed through now, and they're coming into the control panel, and I've taped down the pickups at the front. Now we'll grab our pots back, and you notice I've got labels on this bit of cardboard. I've labelled this VB for volume bridge, this one VN for volume neck, this one TB for tone bridge, and this one TN for tone neck. And that's because that's how they sit in the back of the guitar. So when you turn them over, imagine you're playing the guitar, and this is the top of the guitar over here, that's the bottom. So you want your volume at the front or the top for your neck, and the volume for the bridge at the bottom, and the same for the tone. So turn that over again, and that's our work surface. So in theory I can just finish off the wiring, take them out of this cardboard and put them in the back of the guitar, like so, and they'll be in the right position. So first things first, let's wire the pickups. So let's look at this yellow wire, and you remember that the yellow wire is from the neck pickup. So this neck pickup has two wires. There's a coated hot wire and a bare earth wire. So the coated hot wire we need to solder to the left hand or input contact point on the neck volume pot, and the bare wire is soldered to the top as an earth. And for the red wire, the same sort of deal. It has two wires coming out of it. It has a coated hot wire and a bare earth wire. So this one will go to the left hand or input contact point on your bridge volume, and the bare wire will earth at the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and we'll see how that looks. Here you go, I've soldered the bare wire there on top of the pot, and I've soldered the white coated wire to the left hand side point on both of those pots there. So they're right to go for the minute. Next step, we'll turn those two tone pots into tone pots by adding this, which is a capacitor, one to each of those tone pots. Notice that they've got two long legs. We need to cut one of those legs in half on both the capacitors, and we'll solder the short half leg to the middle contact point on the tone pot, and we'll solder the longer leg to the top of the pot. So I'll just go and do that, and I'll show you the result. And there you go. You'll see those two capacitors are now soldered onto the top of those pots and to the contact points at the front, the middle contact points at the front. So they're now tone pots. Alright, now it's time to join up the pots. Okay, I'm going to join this volume pot here at the left hand side contact point where we've already got a wire. That's the hot wire from the bridge pickup. So I'm going to run a wire, just a short wire from our pack, from that contact point to this contact point, which is actually the right hand side, far right hand side. But because they're facing each other, these contact points, they're both on the left. So from the left here to the left there. So you can see you don't need a very long wire. And there's your selection of wires there. Just grab one of the short wires, trim and tin both ends, and connect it up. And there you go, I've got an orange wire running from the right hand side contact point on this tone knob to the left hand side contact point on that volume knob. So now I just need to do the same for the neck pots. So from the left hand side to the right hand side, or looking down because they're facing each other, it's just from left to left. And there you go, this time it's a black wire from that right hand side contact point to the left hand side contact point, or left to left. Alright, so that's done. Okay, let's have a look at our three-way switch. If we look at the bottom of that, you'll see there's three contact points down the middle, and there's a contact point on the outside, which is an earth. Now, a three-way switch obviously works in three positions, so 1, 2, 3. If you select that position, that'll select that contact point. The middle will select both, and that will select that contact point. So because our pots are already labelled, we know which is our bridge and which is our neck. I'm going to put the three-way switch into that position, and I'm going to imagine that's the bridge position. So I want to attach our bridge pickup to this wire, and we do that by running a wire from the bridge volume, the middle contact point, to the bridge contact point on your three-way switch. So from your middle contact point on your bridge volume to the bridge contact point on your three-way switch. So we'll do that, and we might as well do the neck. So the neck is obviously from the middle contact point of your neck volume to the other side, so to the neck contact point on your three-way switch. So there you go. I don't know if you can see that. There's a purple wire coming from this contact point to the middle contact point on the neck volume, and if you follow this blue wire, it's coming from the other end of that three-way switch, so the other contact point, and it's going on to the middle contact point of the bridge volume pot. Alright, so that's the start of our three-way switch. The last wire on this middle row on the three-way switch is the middle one, and that's going to go to the output jack. Now on an SG-1, the setup is you have your three-way switch up here, your volume knobs, your tone knobs, and then your input for your guitar, or your output jack, sits about there. So if we grab the output jack and just put that there for a minute, just rest that on my towel. So that'll see, I'll need a wire to go from there to about there. So it doesn't need to be that long, and I think that red one is going to be long enough. So I'll trim and tin that wire, and I'll connect it to the middle contact point there. And that's a hot output, so it needs to go to the hot contact point on the output jack, which of course, if you remember, is the outside one. So the one which is directly opposite the part that touches your guitar jack, and that inside one is the earth. And there you go. I've got a red wire running from the middle contact point on the three-way switch to the hot contact point on the outside of the output jack. Okay, I've just put these into the back of the guitar just so I can run you through this. So that red wire is running from the middle of the three-way switch, those three in a row, the middle contact point, and that's running all the way across the control panel to the hot output jack contact point. Now, to earth the three-way switch, remember there's an earth contact point on the outside in the middle, and I've got a black wire running from there just to the top of the first volume pot just there. Alright, so that's the three-way switch complete, and while I was there I did the output jack as well. I just needed an earth wire running from the earth contact point, and that's just earth to the back of that tone pot just there. So that's pretty much the wiring there for all the active stuff. We just need to finish off the earth wires, and I'll run you through that now. It's pretty simple. We need to earth the two volume pots together. So from the top of one volume pot to the top of the other volume pot, and we do the same for the tone pots. And then the final earth wire runs from the bridge volume pot to the bridge tone pot. And that, my friends, is it. That's the SG completely wired up. Now you just need to take it out of the cardboard and put it into the guitar. So we'll do that, and we'll show you how that looks. So there you go, I've just turned that round. There's a good view of the back of the guitar. There's your output jack down the bottom, your tone controls with the capacitors on, your volume controls, and your three-way switch. It's over now, they're all going to fall out. So what I need to do is I need to work from underneath and just put the washers and the hexagonal nuts on the pots, that they look like those, and then the washer on the output jack and the three-way switch. So I'll do that and show you how that looks. And there we go, there's our pots all pushed through. We've put the washers and the nuts on, and they're nice and tight. There's our three-way switch pointing nicely up and down, and I've got our output jack there screwed in tightly. So that's basically it. I can screw these pickups in now, put the neck on, put the bridge on, and string it up and see how it sounds. Alright, enjoy.